Each year, with the onset of winter, hundreds of pronghorn migrate every fall over 150 miles from their important summer range in Grand Teton National Park south to the upper Green River Basin outside of Pinedale, Wyoming. Pinedale is a place rich in water and hardy forage that fosters the largest gathering of pronghorn on Earth. This great migration, the path of the pronghorn, has been occurring for over 6,000 years. Some 48,000 pronghorn make the upper Green River Basin home in the winter, only to return to Grand Teton National Park every spring, making this migration corridor one of the longest in North America. The path of the pronghorn is one of the last and longest land migration corridors in North America. In 2008, this became the nation's first federally designated wildlife migration corridor, which not only protects this exclusively American animal, but several other species of Wyoming wildlife.
The pronghorn migration from the Green River Basin to Grand Teton National Park not only is one of the longest migrations in North America, but it's also one of the most spectacular. The Green River Basin is located in western Wyoming, and it's surrounded to the west by the Wyoming Range, the north by the Grovemont Range, and the east by the Wind River Range. And Pinedale, Wyoming sits in the heart of the Green River Basin.
Pinedale, Wyoming has the wonderful advantage of being at the epicenter of this unique and phenomenal migration of pronghorn.
The archaeological record in this area shows that pronghorn migration has occurred here for at least the last 6,000 years.
For over 1 million years prior to the arrival of European explorers, there were an estimated 35 million pronghorn roaming the plains of North America. However, the subsequent wave of hunting and habitat loss that followed colonization of the continent saw the pronghorn population crash to less than 20,000 by the early 1920s. Owing to substantial conservation efforts since then, pronghorn numbers have fortunately recovered to an estimated 700,000 today.
They're found nowhere else on the planet. They're only here in North America. So they are a very unique species. There's nothing left in North America that can outrun a pronghorn. Only the cheetah can, and of course it's not here. Pronghorn can travel at maximum speeds up to 60 miles an hour.
Renowned for its speed, the pronghorn is the fastest terrestrial mammal in the Western Hemisphere and capable of maintaining cruising speeds of 40 miles per hour for long distances. Speed is important to the pronghorn's survival because they live in open areas with no place to hide from predators. In addition to their speed, pronghorn have excellent eyesight and can spot a threat up to 4 miles away. Both the male and female pronghorn have horns, but only males have black markings on their face.
In mid to late September, as fall approaches Grand Teton National Park, the 300 to 400 pronghorn that summer there began their long migration back to their winter range. That migration takes them to the Grovemont River drainage, through the Red Hills, up to the hydrographic divide. And from there, they drop down in elevation into the upper Green River Basin, where they meander down and cross the Green River.
The path of the pronghorn is the only migration corridor to and from Grand Teton National Park. The greatest threat to their migration comes from man-made obstacles such as subdivisions, energy development, fences, and busy Highway 191. These man-made obstacles threaten to sever the migration corridor, which could prevent the continued permanent existence of pronghorn in Grand Teton National Park.
We started seeing a pretty high mortality rate with deer and antelope along the highway, and that rate was going up along with the traffic.
The threats to these migration corridors remains the same as it has been since the beginning. The only difference between then and now is that they're increasing in intensity.
Ever-growing highway traffic increased this danger and was responsible for over 140 pronghorn deaths annually. Biologists were instrumental in identifying problem intersections along the migration corridor and U.S. Highway 191. A key bottleneck along this route is Trappers Point.
Trappers Point area it's a narrow neck of land. and it's a natural migration route for any animals to come down and migrate along this area here.
At this point, the Green River and residential development constrict the route to a narrow intersection where thousands of animals are forced to cross U.S. Highway 191. In order to mitigate this hazard, biologists work with the Wyoming Department of Transportation to create animal under and overpasses to aid the animals' migration. In 2010, the Wyoming Department of Transportation invested $9.7 million into a project that would install fencing and crossing structures along U.S. Highway 191.
The overpass construction was completed in 2012, and the first year following construction, more than 4,000 pronghorn used the overpass at Trapper's Point. If we look across the entire project, 13 miles of game fencing, 6 underpasses and 2 overpasses, we've had more than 23,000 mule deer and pronghorn use all of those structures.
Over the past 2 years since the project's complete, we've seen a 80 to 90% reduction in the animal vehicle collisions. We continue to monitor and try and improve our success rate with this project so that we're getting fewer animals into the right-of-way.
In order to achieve success on this project, it was truly a collaborative effort.
The Path of the Pronghorn has not only brought together state and federal agencies, but also local citizens in efforts to better conserve this spectacular migration.
We have a number of huge successes to celebrate in protecting this long-distance migration. We have a summer range that's protected underneath the designation of Grand Teton National Park. The Bridger Teton National Forest designated a portion of the pronghorn's long migration as a protected national corridor. It's the first ever protected national corridor, and it protects approximately half of the pronghorn's migration from Grand Teton National Park down to the Upper Green River Basin Winter Range.
I think the one thing that the Path of the Pronghorn migration really did was highlight the challenges associated with conserving migrations across long distances and a mix of land ownership. But it really started the dialogue going, and people began to recognize what could be done to help conserve parts of this migration.
There are a variety of different measures underway to increase public understanding of just how significant these migration corridors are and how unique they are to our nation. The Path of the Pronghorn remains one of the last intact wildlife migration routes in our nation. That makes it worth protecting.
It's been really rewarding being a part of this project. I personally enjoy doing something positive, not just for the people I serve, but also something to help the wildlife.
As a result of these conservation efforts, the Path of the Pronghorn Migration Corridor is a true conservation success story. Not only are the pronghorn and this great migration route more likely to thrive, it's a celebration for all people and an opportunity to witness this great land migration, the Path of the Pronghorn.